G'day, citizens. Welcome to Inforunners. I'm Execute, joined today by Lemming and Old Man Host himself, Algared. How you gentlemen doing today?
Doing good.
Algared's sleepy citizen. It's a bit like
Yep.
that. I'm feeling it too, man. I got 2 lots of 4 hours, but I've got these like wet eyes. I can just tell they want to pass out. So feeling it a little bit.
Yep.
But I'll get used to it as we go along. Are you going to go
I
along?
had 5 hours, so
5 hours. Wow. You must have been up all night. What were you doing up all night? Who was keeping you up all night? What were they doing with you all night? I wonder. Right. Yeah, don't need to say anything. Yeah, sure, nothing. Right, yeah, cool. Right.
I did spend a lot of time doing some testing based on what we talked about yesterday. So
okay, all right. So Origin, why didn't we just stay in bed, Algared? That's what I want to know.
Well, there's no new ship, so yeah. It's...
but we brought Lemming along. Lemming is a very big fan of Origin. I was expecting him to pipe up there. He didn't say anything.
I'm just a fan of good chips, so I mean,
bad taste. You're a fan of bad taste. All right, cool. Good to know. Right. So we'll be going through. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just giving you a shit stone. Yeah. Right. So let's. Well, what did I do there? Click the wrong button. Right. Let's. I'm just going to move this around for a second. This is going to go weird for a half a second because I want to put it up on this screen so I can see 2 things at once. Right. So Origin. 100i. Lemming, I'll let you kick this one off. And we will chuck all the 100 eyes together. There is 3 of them. So we got the 125C, the 130. Oh, sorry, the 125A, the 135C, and the 100I. Lemming, would you kindly, sir, please tell me your thoughts on these 3?
So, of the 3, the best one is the 125A. A lot of people like the 135C for some reason, and I'm not entirely sure why. It has double the cargo, but is slower, and I don't think anybody will be using this ship for cargo. So the argument for the C has always been weird to me.
Right. Okay. What about you, Algared? You prefer the 135C, or do you prefer the 125A like Lemming?
Oh, I think it depends on what you want. They're nice little snub ships.
That's it.
The 135C does enable you to bring more cargo in if you're supplying a bigger ship, and I think that's what people like about it. But the 125A gives you a nice little offensive package. But when you're looking at $60,
yeah, when you got the cutter there now, it's very hard to kind of look at those prices. And again, yeah, you go up to $60 for the 125A. You've got an Avenger Titan, and I just don't think it competes with the Avenger Titan. Well, unfortunately,
even the 300i is currently $600. Oh, $60,
yeah,
so $600.
Yeah.
So to be clear, I wouldn't recommend anybody buy one of these for full price, but like I've been doing this for a long time, and I have like a referral ships, and I realized that I kind of want to turn my referral ship into something useful. So to me,
this is not it. That's what you're telling us. Good to know.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I'm going to be honest. Look,
to me, it's worth $20.
This is why it's ridiculous, right? 135C, $65. Or the 315p for $65. That's the one you should be getting. It does more cargo. It's a bigger ship. It's got it's just got better facilities in every single way. There is no contest. Using an Origin ship against itself, you cannot fight me in any way, shape, or form. That is literally the only reason you can have is the look. That's the only thing I'll let you fight me on is the look. And if you want to tell me that looks better than that, cool. But functionally, you don't have a leg to stand on.
Smaller shield, smaller power plant, smaller everything. Look, you just look at the 300i, $60. That makes it better than the 125. It makes it better than 135C in my book.
Yep.
And it's $10 cheaper, $10 more expensive than the.
Yep. The spacings need to make sense, and they just don't make sense. It's kind of like how it just shows you how shoehorned in this ship was. This ship should have been a lot cheaper than it actually is in my book. I think realistically they all need to be at least $5 cheaper, at least minimum, right? But probably even more. And again, like the reason why this is 50 is because the cutter came out at 45. That's basically it.
Yep. And
the thing that always frustrated me is, people said, "Oh, we need a 100i series," but we've got the the 85X and we've got the M50, and they're very small ships as well. And so, if you're looking at Origin, really small ships, it's just really jam packed down at that end. You got the 100, the 85X, the M50, and the 300, and it's just like, ugh.
Yeah. So it sounds like I'm going to hate on all of these ships a lot, right? But the real thing I want them to do is just to be better. I am really looking forward to the day when I can actually buy an Origin ship that's functional. Like the shop ships is something I'm probably going to really be looking forward to when I'm pretty sure they're coming.
So I do want to add something for the 100 series.
Mm-hmm.
So the 100 series does not run out of hydrogen. It just goes and goes and goes.
I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one. I can give you that one.
So, while I agree that they should all be $5 cheaper or maybe $10 cheaper, they do definitely have a place. I just don't know if that place is.
They have a place. It's called the garbage bin. They belong there. Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. We agree they have a place. It's in the trash.
Look, I actually that fact that they've got that air system which makes them their hydrogen just seem to last forever and ever and ever does make them probably the best snub shipping game. But they're not a snub ship. That's really the role they fulfill.
It's really pricing. It's just pricing, right? It is really pricing because like let's move on to these. Like these are the first ones here. They're kind of cooler in my opinion. I personally prefer the style better. I just when you look in the interior of the other ones and then you look at these, like there's just no contest in my personal opinion. These are far more luxurious. It's like having a shoebox or a crate, like I can't justify their price existence. It's crazy to me. And then you put the cutter there as well. Like, look, if you were to literally just look at them without any textures on both of them, and you were just looking at them at bare bones and the space available, like the cutter even rivals this and the Avenger. It's crazy. Like you just functionally, you just can't even compete. But yeah, Lemming, tell me your thoughts on the 300 series, please.
Again, I think that there's only one in this series that makes a little bit of sense.
And it's that one?
Yeah, it's that one.
Yeah.
I think that the base 300 is silly. I think the 325A is even more silly.
Mm-hmm.
And the 350R is... I wish that ship didn't even exist.
I know for sure if Paul was here or Astro was here, Algared, he'd be singing this one's praises too, and he does that a lot. Yeah.
I do know there are a lot of people who do sing the 325A's value as well. But I'm not being a dogfighter. I can't tell you how it functions, and Bots would be someone who would have a better view on how it performs.
Well, if he turned up today, we could have asked him, but he didn't.
He was supposed to turn up, wasn't he? At least he told me.
No, he wasn't.
He was he was supposed to turn up today. He told me he wanted to be here for Origin Day and Aliens Day. Let's see if he turns up for Aliens Day.
And he did I think it's because he did a 29 hour stream and then fell asleep. And I think he's still
he went for longer than 24 hours. That's the problem. He had like almost like 600 viewers.
29,
when I went to bed about I can't remember even what time I went to bed now, but when I went to bed, he was still going. So it was like at 30 hours at that point. Crazy madman. Right.
Insane.
This is an outlier too, the 350R, because it really jumps a lot in price. I honestly couldn't tell you how good it is at racing at the moment, but I do know it's sought after just due to its rarity. 125 I do think is pretty steep, but then when you bring in things like the Peregrine Took, it's not so expensive as a racer anymore. So yeah, I don't know. Lemming, do you know anything about how this fares in the racing at all? And if you don't, that's okay.
Yeah. So based on from what I've heard from racers, is that this ship is the worst racer in the game.
Okay, well, good to know. What a pile of shit. Right, it's just not going well for Origin today, is it then? Right.
I could go through the stats, but Echo and Co from Angia have compiled, but I don't think it was the worst, but it's certainly not the best. But,
right.
Yeah.
Okay, 400i.
It depends on the situation you've got it going in.
400i.
So anyway, 400i.
The gooseneck. The ugly duckling.
the Ugly Duckling that is actually a swan. It is a beautiful ship. It's compact. It's multiplayer. Probably the thing I hate most about it, it's only got room for a bike.
You mean
but other than that, it's
you mean multi-crew, right?
multi-crew.
Multiplayer.
And the worst thing is that multiplayer.
Your boomer is showing. Put it back. Put it back. It's showing your boomer is showing.
Right. No, my MMO-ness is showing.
Right.
But yeah, apart from the fact that it can only take a bike, it's a great ship. It's made just even the way that rear turret is. It's really made for getting out of dodge.
Can you get a mule in the back too, Lemming? In the cargo area, from memory, you can get a mule in there, can't you?
I would be surprised.
Very small. I know you can get a very small vehicle into the cargo area.
It's short back there.
Yeah.
But the main vehicle thing is that bike. But I love the entrance. I love the climate controlled storage on the sides, which really does loan to that explorer gathering samples type stuff. The interior feels good. It feels logically worked out. Yeah, it's a great ship.
Credit where credit is due. This is the best luxury ship they've ever done, in my opinion. It is bold, it is striking, it stands out. It had a really good set of skins that came with it as well. I think this is the bench, or what do you call it, the bar that you need to jump to at least get to luxury. And I think all the other luxury ships need to be at least brought up to this level. And I now think of things like the 600i rework and even gold standardizations for ships like this, taking all the shit on the Perseus. Holy shit, man. I am actually looking forward to see some of these come out.
And that's where what you're saying is true for this, because this was the last of the Origin luxury ships. So 600 and 890 came out way before this.
Yep.
And so it's like they learned their mistakes, and so hopefully what they've done here will transition. So
I think it's a shame, because I actually would like them to rework the exterior on some of the other ones, because I again, like I don't think the 600. Well, Lemming, I'll put this to you too. I don't think that it's as bolding, as striking as this is, and I think it needs something like that in the 600i. But Lemming, I know you own the 600i, so as someone who owns it, would you like it to get an exterior work as well as the internal rework? Maybe should have left that for when we got to the 600i. But oh, there we go. That's right.
I don't think so. So that image that was just for the 400i, that's actually one of the desktops that I have. I absolutely love the way that this ship looks. I want this ship to have variants so badly. Every single I want, like, when I hear about variants coming out, well, I'm like, okay, it needs to be a 400.
It should have them, because based in lore, when it has an eye, it means it's modular. So you probably might not like the 600i has the Touring Explorer. I dictates that it should have modules. So maybe down the road. And I will also, I'll add this as well. One thing that this ship has going for it that no other ship in the game has yet, that I think we're going to see in other ships, is the climate controlled cargo area. That also puts us in smuggling territory, because if you've got some kind of special thing that needs to be cold or hot, you can transfer it. And that clearly means down the road that we're probably getting another cargo ship. Don't know the manufacturer, but it can have climate controlled as well, but maybe it's heaps bigger.
Yeah. But based on their numbering, you'd expect to see, a 425, a 415p, and yet by their naming, because this is the Explorer version, this should have been the 415p.
Yep, I 100% agree. But again, because it's an eye, it also dictates modules. So that means it'll be like the 600i. If they do a variant, it should have a module to swap over to something else. So it will only ever be the 400i. But if they come back and do variants, it should be like the 600i. So you'd have the Exploring in this one. Don't know what the other one would be. Maybe it is the Touring, as an example, just to keep it simple, like the 600i. But yeah, I will also point out a lot of Origin ships, right? And I probably should have pointed this out at the beginning. It's a detriment and a gain, and I don't know how else to put this, but essentially they have the qualities of a ship below them in size, but they're the best. So this is essentially the best medium ship in the game, but it's actually a large. So it's got all the benefits of the medium. So it kind of looks weaker and stronger at the same time. But it's really that they size them up one size. It's the same thing with all of them, and it's the same thing with the 600i, because that was actually designed to directly compete with the Connie, wasn't an Algared, and it basically it's heaps bigger than the Connie. So again, it's one size up. So it's an S4 instead of an S3.
Yeah,
or whatever it is.
Yeah, when they brought out the 600i, it was Origin telling RSI how to do it at luxury ship after they brought out their Phoenix. So
another little small hate for me between the two of these is out of game the Explorer is more expensive, and in game the Explorer is cheaper. Don't know how that works out, but that's how it works out. Which is the best two of these ones, Lemming, in your opinion?
As with most things, Origin, both. But no. So the Explorer is where it's going to be. When it eventually gets its rework, which I know everybody has been asking for now for like 4 years. The Touring isn't going to have a med bed, and that is a pretty big deal, I think.
Look, Grim talks about kits a lot, right? In ships, things like he goes, oh, it would have been cool if the Polaris had a kit, or the Perseus had a kit, like the Idris. Out of all the ships, I think that need a kit, it's this one. Why the hell were they not sold as individual modules back in the day? Which implies it implies in game that you're going to be able to earn the other one, right? So why not sell that and make the money? You could literally sell them the kit for like $100 to turn it into the other one.
When you get the big packs, you used to only get the touring model and the Explorer module.
Okay.
Yes, so that's actually how it works now. So if I go and look at my 600i Explorer pledge, it says 600i Explorer module.
Oh, okay.
It's always said that. And when you had the big packs, they used to give you a ship for every variation, but you only ever got one 600i listed in the pack. And I said, why have they only got that? And they said, oh, because that's a module. And so the idea was you didn't get two ships. And so that's something that they changed down the pack. And I think partly because they didn't have the modules built to actually slot in or do stuff to. The reason I think the 600i Explorer is more expensive on the store page is because it does have the mythical little G12 Explorer vehicle included in its price.
That makes sense. Right, so Lemming, with the 600i rework on the cards, realistically, how long do you think you're going to be waiting?
God, I don't know.
How much string do you want? Or how much rope do you want?
Would you say, would you agree with this statement? Knowing that when they released things about the Origin, it kind of showed that they're halfway between commercial and luxury, that there's more than likely some shop ships coming. So when we see hints of shops coming, they're probably working on some more Origin ships. So I would say that would be the lead for when you're more likely to see some 600i ships Origin being worked on, and they're probably going to give you the update around that time. I think that is where would be your earliest guess. So knowing that there's the Kraken, the Banner Merchantman, and the Privateer, shops may be on the card after base building. I still think you're a couple of years away, but that's where I'd say you're at least two, like it's after 1.0, put it this way, in my personal opinion. But I think you're probably at minimum 2 years away, or even hearing about them starting to work on this.
I think that there's a lot of pressure on CIG to update the 600i because they showed us that stuff, and people have been, for lack of a better term, banking on it. Because like right now, the ship isn't in a great spot. It's a little bit too slow. It doesn't quite have enough firepower.
But if you put the priority thing in, it's just not a priority. It's in the game.
Yeah.
There's no
because it's pliable, which is what John Crew said.
Yeah, and
it works.
And the other part of it would be is not to they come back working more on exploring, so scanning and stuff like that. That would also give them a reason to work on the 600i. So it's one of those two, in my personal opinion, either working on Origin ships or working on exploring. And again, if it's just scanning, it's probably going to work pretty well on all ships. Just how they are right now, it's more of a function, not a like a remodeling interior rework. So I do think you'll get more functionality before you get a rework.
It does tie into what John Crew also said about doing reworks as well, doesn't it? When we were talking to him, I said, what would you rather? Would people rather we work on a ship that hasn't been done at all, or go back and work on a ship that's already in game and functioning?
Yeah,
and because we can only do one or the other, and
there's just not
they make the choice to get the new ships out.
Yeah, and again, you can start to use this as a bit of an onboarding task too.
Yeah. I could also... Sorry, go ahead, Lemming.
So I think John Crew knows how much tech debt the ship team is accumulating. Like the Reclaimer, the Connies, like a lot of the old ships really...
But that's not just on him. That's on also the design teams and other teams. There are things outside his control.
Right. He's just the face. So so that's what I'm saying here. I'm not saying that he has to do all the work. I'm saying that I think he realizes that some of the older ships are in a bad spot.
I think we found your stalker, John Crew. He's Lemming. I'll give you his address. No, it's fine. Okay, keep going.
I think that this ship is worth the wait.
I hope so.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on because we did talk about that way too much. Please move on. Let's move on. We've talked about it.
Let me finish that one point, but I did want to do, because there is a variant I do think they should bring out when they do rework, and it's a cargo variant, because in lore, this was a cargo ship.
I'll give you that.
The hull of this was a cargo ship.
Yep, I'll give you that. And plus, I think a lot of people would like to see a bit of a dilapidated look for an Origin, like a little bit let go. I think that'd be kind of cool. And to think that pirate skins are not coming down the line for this, you got rocks in your head. Especially something like once Grey Market get involved. I would love to see a pirate skin for an Origin ship. I think it's crazy. Because again, you know that whole luxury doubloon thing? Like of a pirate?
Yep.
That would I could totally see a pirate rocking an 890 jump. Anyway, 85X, contender for next year's Best in Show. I'm going to say that right now. This is the last ship in the game that needs skin. That's going to be our push. That's kind of always been our thing, trying to get every ship in the game a skin. We can get this one off, and then our job is done in that regard. So this is the last one. I really think that this will get some kind of, knowing that we're going to be pushing it, I think they will probably try and get this a bit of love. And I know there are a few fans out there. Bops is a big fan of it. He really loves flying around in this thing and doing combat. I know Piss Poor Pete loves going around in it. So yeah, which I'll let you guys both, because I know you both own this. So, or Lemming, do you actually own it?
No, I don't own this thing.
Nope. Okay, he hates it. Right. So, Algared.
Do you don't own an 890 jump, Lemming?
That is extremely true.
Because if you had an 890 jump, you'd have one of these already as well. Look, the 85X is a ship. Lots of people like it. They like it for the dual cab. I've never really liked it. It's a ship for me that just didn't feel right. But it is nippy. It is small. For me, in lore, it's a ship that was kind of built alongside the M50. It was the company having an argument over which they wanted a small ship, a small interceptor. Which ship are we going to have? And they built both. They kind of had plans for both. The 85X lost out against the M50, but then when they were building the 890 and they needed a snub ship, they put the 85X in. So that's why it's kind of X experimental. I always thought this was the ideal 100i in terms of sizing and everything else, which...
Yeah, actually, that's not a bad idea. If you kind of took this and varianted it out a little bit, that could have been interesting. But yeah, okay, they went another way. So, that's fine. That's fine. Again, I think I'm going to be honest with you, M50 and the 85X, they really, to me, are like those ships back where the Caterpillar and those older original 5 kind of sit, where they just were trying to figure shit out, and they're kind of things that if it had been a film, they would have ended up on the editing room floor. And there are a few ships like this in this game, and that's just one of the things. Let's be honest, it probably would change now, like, because they would have changed it a little bit to fit a bit more of a shuttle scenario. I think for me, it probably needs to get some. Does it have any internal storage? Have they gone back and done any of that? Because it clearly needs like some kind of weapon racks and some kind of internal storage. Because like if you're a shuttlecraft going down to the ground, you'd kind of maybe want to get some supplies for the actual. How do you bring your shopping back? How does the luxury woman with all her shopping, or the chef that goes down to get the food to cook or whatever, like it's just very impractical. And so you're going to have another shuttlecraft on the 890 jump that pulls that off, and it just, I guess you could do it that way, but like I would have liked to have a little bit of cargo on it.
Strangely, they've got the 100 for 135C that is perfect for an 890 jumps cargo shuttle. But yeah, this is kind of your sightseeing shuttle. It's the one you take off to go fly around the icebergs or race around the iceberg before you go back to your touring ship. It's
Right. 890 jump, please, Lemming.
Not my cup of tea. When it's just a mess. It's like it's designed wrong. The bridge you have to walk through the guest area. It's just I don't know.
Again, I think it's a ship that they made mistakes in and they're learning from, and they had to do that all the way along, right? They said it themselves, right? Ben Curtis said it themselves. They are not ship designers; they are game developers. They had to kind of learn it as they went along, and the community's been advising them, like they said with the Perseus, with the signage and stuff like that. But they listen to anyone that makes videos on YouTube or Twitch and stuff like that, and they get feedback, and they've just learned as they've gone along. We're humans; we all make mistakes, and they're educating themselves. I have no doubt when they come back and gold pass the shit out of this thing, because let's be honest, the outside looks amazing. I think we can agree on that. Yeah, it does. When I first reviewed this with Algared, I remember saying to Algared, it looks like they've kind of built it from the bottom up. And they've kind of got to the top where the atrium is, and they ran out of space. And then they've just like shoehorned everything in that they had to fit in, and they've got all these rooms kind of down the bottom that just don't kind of really need to exist. But because they'd already made them, they didn't want to undo that work. It kind of reeks of not laying it out properly, right? To me, and
I 100% agree.
I would say that this is a less, how do I put this? Not as bad version of what happened to the Phoenix. Right? Essentially, the Phoenix had too much shit stuffed in. Would you kind of agree with that, Algared? It is like
there are elements where that's true. Like when this was sold, it had laser PDCs. And had all these extras. They've now added those in, which is great. But when it first came out, the defense were the missile turrets. I think it's still down a man turret, but it would have had, but it's now got PDCs as well. So it's actually gone up a lot. I've actually always liked the interior. There's some things I don't like, such as the staircase, where it's a ship where you'd be, if you were going and showing yourself off, you'd have your entourage and your handbag, your model handbag or whatever beside you, and yet you can't do that on the stairwell. It's a single file stairwell. So there's things that kind of don't scream that luxury aspect, but there are other things that really pick that up. So this was one of the first ships where you've got the differentiation between the styling for passengers and the styling for crews. So you've got the wood paneling where the passengers would go. You've got the non-paneling where the others would go. It's got 8 rooms for crew. It's got 5 luxury suites, but big, massive hotel suite with its own private kitchen and bedroom and meeting boardroom at the back, often referred to as the captain's cabin. And then you've got 4 other luxury suites spread throughout the ship. It's got the restaurant and the meeting hall. It's got a full-on kitchen, which tells me that crafting and cooking is something that's going to be in game as well. It's got one of the nicest small hangars. One of the problems they had initially is it's got a downstairs cargo bay in the hangar, as well as a cargo bay in the cargo area. And the cargo, they couldn't have both cargo bays working at the same time. and so you had issues there. But it's got room for 2 snub ships, but that hangar is easily big enough for 3 arrows to sit side by side at the back and 1 at the front, and be able to take off normally. It's a great. Look, it's got things that really say it's a great ship, but it's a capital ship, but it's not a combat ship. And if you take it into combat, you're really asking for trouble. It's a ship to run away.
What I'm hearing is both the 890 jump and the 600i you're going to be waiting to kind of get it back to where it needs to be. In short, and that's a lot of money to have invested on something you got to wait on. But I've got other ships at that price that I've been waiting for stuff too. But at least you've got something in game that you can kind of use now. But just know that man, if they're going to rework the 600, this is 100% going to need the same type of pass. Where the 600i has too much space, this doesn't have enough of it. It's the opposite problem.
I do think that this is in a better place than the 600, though.
I agree, because it's got everything it needs is in there, but it's just shoehorned in there. Again, maybe go through and make some more spaces and get rid of some of the superfluous rooms and stuff like that. And like Lemming said, they need to rejig where people move and stuff like that. It's an interior rework, not an external rework at all. And I think it'll be fine. It's just going to, as we've said before, it's just a priority thing. All right. The G12 series. For those of you that noticed, I deliberately used the G12 to tease you, if you're an Origin owner, as the thumbnail today. Because this thing ain't out yet, and I know you're waiting on it. For me, the G12, just the standard one, is where it's at, personally. The racing and the AA has now been, there's so many AA variants now, it's kind of not funny. The Cyclone, there's a rumored MTX as well. I don't know if we'll see that 3rd variant. Maybe we won't. But I also look at the new one, the MDC, with that PDC on it. Well, that's all of a sudden very interesting, more interesting than AA missiles. So, because it's going to shoot the ground and the air, so it's really cool. And the racing, you've got other races as well there. I don't know, I'm not a racing person, you know that, but again, this one's the cheapest with a turret. It does a bit of cargo. It's fully enclosed. There's nothing that I don't like about the stock variant. I think it would be very suitable for what it does. Essentially like the Ursa, but faster. And less people. You're giving up a couple of extra people and gaining speed.
I think it's also less cargo than the Ursa, and it's wider than an Ursa. So
yes, but it's prettier than an Ursa, isn't it, Lemming?
It's prettier, and I hope they plan to do something with it.
It's certainly prettier in on paper. We haven't seen it in game yet, so
that's true.
Well, again, the way things are going, the longer something takes to come out, the
better it is.
Look, put it this way: this thing finally comes out, it won't be the 400i that's the watermark for Origin. It'll be this. Imagine, just again, take what happened on the Perseus, put all the decals and stuff all out. I'm just saying, there'll be something to keep your eye on when that does drop. All right, M50. You want to take this one, Algared? Racing?
I was going to say something about the 325, the racing variant, the 212 racer.
Yeah.
One of the things that does make the racer fairly good, and it's one thing we did talk about when we did the review many years ago, is the fact that it's low to the ground and got a wide wheelbase, which does help with speed and turning and all the other stuff. So.
But it doesn't come in red, so it's slow. Right. M50 does come in red, so that means it's fast. Tell me about this one, Lemming. Is this are you a fan of the M50, or are you faster than fast, as they call it there?
I think that this suffers from a slightly lesser version of what the 85X does. It was just... It's
100% agree. It's the old thing. It's like they had two. They're trying to figure out what Origin was and stuff like that. And it's got that, like, it doesn't even look like a modern Origin ship. Like, it's just it kind of needs a restyling on the outside. And I think eventually, as time goes on, when they do come apart, maybe years from now, like, it's not a priority, but when they come back, and how they've talked about over years, they'll just update chips and they'll just keep coming back to them. the entire look of this thing will change, I reckon. That said, I think this is a good A to B ship. As in, you just want to get your ass from one place to another and quickly. This is probably the best ship in the game to do that. No cargo, but just you from there to there, damn quick. At $100 though, it's 100% an earning game for me. You're talking $10 for a Cutlass. You can get a Gladius for $10 less. Like, and that goes into fighting or combat. Like, Nomad for $10 less. Like, it's just no contest there. It really is a premium. And
$10 more, you can get a Cutlass Black.
Well, $25 more, you can get the 350R, which is also a racer, but it also has, cargo and a bed and shit like that. So, even the cheaper ones, the one, what is it, the 100i,
the 125.
No, there is no racer one that's cheaper on Origin. I'm suffering myself up, but yeah, you get my point though, right? Like there are other ones for cheaper from Origin, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Right.
And the other thing with that is when they first brought it out, it was brought out as an interceptor. It was supposedly initially going to be replacing the Advocacy's use of the Avenger. But it never took off in that sense.
No, never would. Right. X1, 3 of them. I think there is only one version that I like, and from memory, it is the Force. The Force is now the only bike that comes with a shield. That actually gives us a functional reason, not just a pretty look, a functional reason that holds off. That said, like with all vehicles, I do not recommend buying in game. This is the racer. This is the standard version. So I think the standard version kind of for me really drops off because you can get the X1 and it has a shield and the gun. So for me, I know it's $10 more expensive, but the X1, it's not $10 worth more in game, and the X1 Velocity is really just the racing variant. So this is the only real variant that I think is even in contention, in my personal opinion, because of the shield. It's defensive and offensive, where this one is just offensive. So yeah,
and yet that is the same price as an Ursa.
That's our point exactly. That's $10 more than an Aurora or a Mustang or a Cutter. Like it just It's the same price. What was it? What was it? The same price? It was one of the 100Is was 55, wasn't it?
Yep.
Was it? Yeah, it's more expensive than a 100i. Are they on crack? Yes, they are.
It's $5 more. $5 less than a 300i.
Yeah,
it just doesn't make sense. And like we've always said, vehicles don't make sense in terms of the pricing because they're stuck on planets. This is the same price as an Ursa, which is multi-crew and cargo. And I still wouldn't recommend buying an Ursa with cash over a ship because you're landlocked.
What about you, Lemming? Does that all make sense to you? Would you be in favor of the X1 Force? And what about the price?
I think that they're very badly priced, but they're fun and they're an earning game even for me.
Yep, agreed. Right, and that's it. Oh wait, I went all the way back, and I could have gone forward too. Right, okay, good to know. Right, but that's all of Origin. Is there anything else that you guys want to point out? I do know that there was a CCU for the 600i. Lemming, did you want to talk about that briefly, or?
Yeah, it's the standard Explorer a Warbond today. It's been offered 1,000 times. It'll be offered 1,000 times more. It's not a bad one, but it's just a very common Warbond.
Yeah, so 445 saves you $30. What's the ship you recommend people jump from, mate?
It's the Prowler.
Prowler? So that will cost you...
It's a $5 CCU.
$5 CCU. That's actually pretty good. I actually think I already have this one personally, from memory.
Most people do. It's been offered 100 times.
I got a couple of them back when the 600i won the best in show, the purple one. That's when I remember picking them up. I got like 3 of them with the purple skin. So yeah. All right. Is there anything else to add there? Is there anything else you guys want to add in regards to Origin? We'll leave it there. For me,
I think we covered it.
Yeah, if you like an Origin ship, don't feel bad that I shat on them, so to speak. They are not for everyone, just like Drake is not for everyone. If you like a ship, feel free to get what you like. Don't let me tell you what to do. And I'm never telling you what to do. I'm only ever advising you. I think Algared, you would say the same.
Yeah, look, I like Origin ships, and a lot of their ships, I balk at the price. Like, I wouldn't buy an 890 jump at the current price. If you picked it up at the original concept price of 600, man, you got a deal.
Yep,
but,
you did.
But at its current price, it's a hard pill to swallow, and it's.
Yeah, as I said earlier, I just want them to be better. You know, like I think the 400i is the standard. I think the standard can only get better going forward. That 600i rework and hopefully an 891. And that standard kind of comes up to the 400i and higher going forward. Origin will be in a great spot, especially when they come back and do some shop ships. I may actually have to pick one up, so we'll see. Lemming, is there anything else you would like to add?
Just pretty much what you said. Like, I do want a lot of them to be better.
All right. With that, then, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. And thank you to everyone that went the extra mile at the end of the video on Patreon. Right. With that, then, he's been Lemming. He's been Old Man Hurston. Algared.
He's been Execute, and we're out of here. Take care.
See you, citizens.